Welcome back to U.S. Farm Report this weekend here at Mizzou. Homecoming week, as I mentioned it earlier, and I'm telling you in a second, you are going to see how much school spirit is here this week for homecoming. It's amazing. A big thank you to all the Missouri commodity organizations that showed up today for our live taping here in Columbia. We are excited. Some important things to talk about. We have a great panel lined up today. Ben, I want to start with you. We saw Mexico come in with a major corn buy on Wednesday. Another big buy on Thursday. Why all of a sudden is Mexico having such a big appetite for our corn?
Yeah, thanks for coming, Tyne. We appreciate you being here. When it comes to Mexico, they were our largest corn buyer last year. They were the big story as to why corn exports increased as big as they did in 2023. We've got a large corn crop here in 2024 that's going to allow us to continue that export profile that we've built here. And Mexico is going to certainly be a big part of that. They need corn. They're facing some dryness, especially in their prime growing region. And so I look for them to be our largest buyer again in 2024, 2025. I don't think that's overly a big stretch to say that, but certainly these are going to be a part of our program as we look ahead to higher corn demand in 2024.
Hopefully we do have that higher corn demand because we are hearing some impressive yields across the Midwest when it comes to corn, including here in Missouri. Pat, when you look at what we need to really boost these corn prices, if we are going to continue to see these supplies grow, do we need more buys from Mexico? Where can we find, do you think, some new corn demand here?
Yeah, we need some more demand, obviously, given the supplies we got here and around the world. So unless we were to have a shorter crop in South America than currently anticipated, we're going to have a tough time, keeping prices up at levels that people want. Some new demand possibilities. Again, could we see some more growth on the biofuel side than currently anticipated? Is one possibility. I'd like to hope that maybe China comes back in the market at some point as well, but we're not 100% certain of that right now.
Yeah, speaking of the biofuels aspect, you look at sustainable aviation fuel, a lot of question marks. Are we going to see corn qualify for some of that? Could that be the big boost in demand that we're looking for? Alejandro, I know that you studied this intensely. We are seeing some grant money come out for some new sustainable aviation fuel plants, but what has to happen to really see that uptick in corn demand at these sustainable aviation fuel plants that right now are taking other types of feedstock, including sugarcane from Brazil instead of corn from the U.S.?
That's right. Yes. Well, first of all, U.S. corn would have to be at a reasonable price for them, for these companies, but they will take time to actually come online. And right now, the supply of sugarcane from other countries is cheaper. And in order to reduce the carbon intensity of corn, to make it more interesting to these refineries, farmers would have to go to invest, right? To spend some money to change practices, and that's costly. So it's a combination of cost on the farm side and also demand on these new these new refineries coming online. So there's also a capacity constraint, how much sustainable aviation fuel can be injected into the market at a reasonable price.
In order for corn to qualify, we will need farmers to change practices for corn production?
Well, not everywhere. There are farms that are already producing low carbon intensity corn with current practices. But for those that want to reduce their carbon intensity even more, most likely they will have to implement some kind of conservation practice like cover crops or reducing the tillage intensity and other conservation practices to get there.
Ben, I mentioned that we're seeing a big crop right now, and there's a lot of frustration with farmers. Harvest has been going pretty smoothly as far as the weather goes, not many rain delays. However, there are delays at the elevator. There are delays in getting the crop out, places in Kansas City, places in St. Louis not taking crop all day. And so where is the bottlenecks happening? I mean, Ben, it's not like we have a rail strike right now. It's not like we have some of those delays. So where is the bottleneck right now at harvest?
Absolutely. I think this is a big question. It's certainly questions I'm getting into our office here at Mizzou, and so I know it's on producers' minds and is a concern. As with a lot of situations that are of this magnitude, there's a variety of different answers, and my guess is it's probably a combination of a lot of different things that could be, individualized to each elevator. One of the common stories that I'm hearing is just the supply that's out there and the risk that's being transferred from producers to elevators by holding that supply. And so elevators are saying, we're going to put that risk back on the farm for the time being, waiting for the market to kind of clear out and move some product.
So if they don't have enough storage on their own farm and they are being reliant, what is your advice to farmers right now?
Well, so, producers aren't wanting to sell at these prices at let's just say $3.70 corn and $9 soybeans. Producers don't want to sell at these prices, and so they're holding as much as they can. Unfortunately, that means that it's got to go somewhere else, commercial storage and piles and things like that. And again, it comes back to who wants to hold the risk of holding that grain and potentially even the deterioration of the product while it's in storage.
Could the commodity price picture, could it change next year? Also, what are the chances we're going to see a farm bill? Pat, you're going to be answering that one, okay? But first, we need to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more U.S. Farm Report in just a moment.